surround yourself with people that you want to be with and you want to see yourself grow with. And surround yourself with eagles, right? Because as you know, eagles can soar. You know, you don't surround yourself with a bunch of ducks that you just swim around. You know,
this is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
There will still be the journey.
The journey.
New sheriff in town, and his name is
The journey.
Journey.
This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is the journey.
The journey.
What is it that moved you?
The journey. The journey. The journey. The journey.
The Journey Initiative is generously supported by Nike's Black Community Commitment. Welcome back to another episode of The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson, and today we got an icon that's a brand new Memphian. He still got the sand from the beaches of Florida on his shoes, y'all. Listen, but before we get to him, we got a Nike quote from probably the greatest endorser in Nike's history, and that would be the great Michael Jordan. And his quote goes a little something like this: some people want it to happen. Some people wish it would happen. Others make it happen. I just got a question. Which one are you? Do you make it happen? Do you wish it would happen? Or do you want other people to make it happen? Well, listen, I'm a make it happen kind of guy. And I believe this brother, Marcus Bolden, straight out of Orlando, Florida, Florida State University. They tell me he's a logistics guru, third-party logistics, supply chain expert. Where else would he live but Memphis, Tennessee, the logistics capital of the world? Listen, he's an executive with Nike. I'm not going to keep going. Let's let this brother talk. Marcus Bolden, what's up, brother?
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to be here. We forgot.
There's one important thing.
He's a brother. He's my fire. He's a noob. He's a camper. He's all of that. So listen, we've left that out, but we ain't leave it out for long.
Yeah.
So listen, Marcus, tell me about the early years, man.
Yeah.
Where were you born, and tell me about the household.
Absolutely, yeah. I was born in Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay.
My parents actually.
You're a Yankee.
Yeah, I'm a Yankee. Yep. I wasn't there for long. My parents were. They met there. My dad was in automotive, so we started there, and eventually made our way to Florida.
Okay.
And so I pretty much was raised in Florida. So I went to
Okay.
South Florida, went to Orlando, and I pretty much was there.
You don't
middle
sound
school.
like a Floridian, man.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's the time here in Memphis already. Is it rubbing off on me? Yeah. I've lost it. But yeah.
Okay.
So we grew up in Orlando. Absolutely loved it. Fun place, and we just really acclimated there. My dad was actually born and raised there, so it was good to get back to family.
Right.
Get back to some community there. So that's where I really call home. I can't really. We don't have a snow shovel or anything like that.
Wow.
As you know.
Did you have a winter coat at any time in your life?
Never had a winter coat. Yeah, never had a winter coat.
That is crazy. You might need one for about a day or two.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Yeah, I never got that route. So, and the winter coats I'll buy in Florida probably aren't built for what they have here in Tennessee.
No, not at all.
It's built different up here.
Yeah, right. But I'm sure Youngstown, man, you got a whole nother level.
Yeah.
I used to actually live in Cincinnati. Outside of your parents, who had the biggest impact on young Marcus?
It would definitely be my grandfather.
Okay.
So my grandfather, he was a great man. He actually built pools in Florida because you cannot give a house away in Florida without a pool. So he was there building pools, and he just had a really, really strong work ethic, but always took a lot of time out for the family, which is something I always admired, right? He had a real big dedication to his faith, to the community, always spent time with all of his kids to spend time on what they're doing outside of school, really invested in their time and where they wanted to go, and really poured his heart out into making sure that they had a better life than he did. And he left a really good foundation, from where he had come from, and he was always just driving to just do better day after day, always his mantra is always you versus yourself, are you getting better day after day? And so definitely he kind of helped shape and mold me, his work ethic and his positive spirit around like.
Is he still living?
Nope. God rest his soul. He's gone. Been for a few years, but
man, you got a big smile on your face talking about your grandfather, man.
But his legacy lives on.
There you go. There you go.
He left a good foundation, so it's good.
How different are you from the person you dreamed you would be as a kid?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was never a small guy, as you would imagine.
Right.
So. Yeah, when I was a kid, everybody would see you like, oh, what sport do you play?
Right.
What more importantly in Florida, what position are you on the football team?
Right, exactly.
And I was so big where I really didn't get to play too much football because at that point they would actually weigh you to play Pop Warner, and so you're like, oh no, you're off the charts, So by the time I got to where I really could do something, it was high school time, and at that point, them boys were really playing.
Yeah, they were. Hey, man,
I was not there. They were going to eat me up. They was not going to happen.
You wasn't going to let it happen.
Yeah, I made a quick attempt to do it real quick, and I quickly realized I might want to do something different. So that was kind of how I engaged and started to get acclimated and find myself, you know.
But you ended up playing lacrosse.
I ended up playing lacrosse. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what was it like for a brother in the state of Florida?
Yeah.
To be playing lacrosse when everybody else is playing basketball and football?
Yeah, I think it's more important. How was it to tell my parents, "Hey, I'm gonna go there"? Like, what? Hey, what do we have to buy? And so that was a tougher discussion around like, oh, if I'm gonna buy all this equipment, you damn well gonna play this sport.
Right.
You better do a good job.
So how did you get introduced to lacrosse?
Yeah. So it was a guy at my church.
Okay.
He introduced me to it and he was like, hey, you know, I was playing football, and I won't even say I was on the football team.
Okay.
It's a very big difference than playing and being on the team. I was on the team. And
don't worry, my son was on the team. I was like, you'll never have to get in, son.
Yeah. I was on the team.
Okay.
And I quickly did not find much passion out of it. I was like, I want to do something different. Did basketball. He was like, hey, you should try lacrosse.
Right.
You can still hit. You can run.
Right.
The boys out there were really small, and at that point, you could really lay them out. And I was like, okay, this looks like fun. So I went to a practice and saw how fast-paced it was. Right. Saw the camaraderie of the sport. There was nobody out there that looked like me, and I was like, oh, this could be fun. You know, I can lay a foundation, do something different. Right. And so I just picked up the stick, and I never put it down. You know, really? In Florida, you could play all the time. Weather was always good, and so.
Did you play in college?
I played in college, played at Florida State as well.
Oh wow! So you played on Florida State's team?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and so I just picked it up, and I was like, you know, I always took the feedback and just tried to get better. And you know, once I poured myself into the sport, I just pretty much dedicated myself to getting better.
What would a sport like lacrosse, would it give a young man? I mean, because like you said, you were the only one out there to look like you.
Absolutely.
Is there independence that comes from that? Is there some sort of work ethic? Is it a motivation?
Yeah. It would give you motivation and expand your aperture, right? Because it was always a good conversation starter because people were like, what? I never seen that sport.
You used the $5 word.
Right,
you said aperture.
Yeah.
So listen, this is for some young people.
Yeah, okay.
So what does aperture mean?
It expands your horizons and like what you can look at, you know, and what things are, you know, what you're available to even think through. You know, when I was going through high school, there were now colleges that were coming up to you, introducing yourself, and I was like, where in the world is this college? I never heard of it. And there were schools that were in the Northeast or areas that you would never even think about going to. Okay. But you could think through like, all right, is that somewhere I want to go play? Is that something I'll be interested in? So it opened up the horizons for different things that you could get into, which normally I wouldn't have gotten with traditional basketball, football, that type entity. Especially coming into a state like Florida, everybody, that's a hotbed. Everybody's going there looking for big athletes to play football and basketball. But lacrosse was a niche sport. So I was able to make so many new friends and meet new people that I would still meet my normal friends that I had, you know, playing the traditional sports, but doing something nuanced. They're different like that allowed me to really get into a different grade of people and different atmosphere. Yeah.
When could you look in the mirror and say to yourself, "We'll be all right. I can handle this thing called life"? Was there a certain period in your life that you were able to do that?
Yeah, I would say once I got to college, you know, I went to Florida State, and so once I got there, it was a scary time just because first time I had to go that far away from home, getting there and getting through the first semester of school and getting out of it, and also playing sports there, right? And so it was the work-life balance of playing the sport. Still being they call it student athlete, but you're an athlete first.
You're an athlete first.
But playing at that level and what it took from a commitment, but also being able to still do what I need to do in the classroom and be able to still sustain it and not have all my hair fall out. I was like, okay, I think I can figure this out. Right. And then during the summer times, I would work in distribution centers and supply chain. Right. And so I kept myself really busy, and I started to see like, all right, I understand this. I'm asking a few questions. I'm learning every summer. I'm like, all right, I think I might be okay, and there's a few bucks rolling in for the paychecks. I'm like, all right, I could figure it out. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take some commitment, but I think if I really keep swinging at the plate, this thing could really work out for me. And my family continued to keep me motivated. Right, they continued to say like, hey,
so they're very important.
They were very important in pushing me and making sure that I was thinking through not the current environment that I was in, but focusing my mindset on where I wanted to go and where I needed to go.
You have any siblings?
I have a brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Brother that's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And we were very, very close, because he also played sports with me. And we were the only 2 black guys that looked like us on the team. So we were very, very easy to point out. The offenses knew
The
what we were
Bolden
gonna,
boys.
the Bolden boys. Yeah, they're the 2 black guys out there.
Okay.
Pretty much in the entire county. So yeah, they. My brother, yeah, we were really close. He actually went to Florida State with me.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna talk about little bruh. So last question of the segment, and I want to bring it down a little bit because it's very serious. So, when was the first time that you, Marcus, looked at yourself and said, "Wait a minute, I'm a black man"? You know. Hold on, real quick. Listen, we're gonna come right back on the journey. And Brother Marcus is going to share with us when he realized in the midst of all of this that he was a brother. Listen, we'll be right back.
This is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
Success in life is not a straight line. There are twists and turns in everyone's life, and the more you know about their story, the more you'll understand the process. KUDZUKIAN Media Group proudly presents The Journey, a show that features successful black men in Memphis telling their stories of their lives and the ups and downs they've encountered on their ultimate road to success. We believe The Journey will encourage young men and help them see that life is a journey. Watch The Journey, hosted by me, Larry Robinson. Brought to you by the KUDZUKIAN Media Group in partnership with the Delta Boulé. Welcome back to The Journey. We got Brother Marcus Bolden from Nike, and he was going to share with us when he realized he was a brother. But before he does that, I got a couple other questions to ask him. Number one, Marcus, who are you? If you had to describe yourself to a person who just met you for the first time, how would you do it?
First thing I would say is I'm a family man.
Okay.
So I love my family, love my faith. We've got a wife. I've been married for 15 years. We got 2 beautiful kids.
Okay.
So those are why I continue to get after this and try to make it happen. So I would definitely say a family man. And really, really dedicated to faith. That's really important. It's helped get me here. What I lean on when in times of need. So those would be some things that I really, I would say that resonate with me. And I'm a good friend.
Okay.
Loyal to people. I still hang out with the same real tight crew of buddies that I hung out with in high school. We're still my best friends.
Okay.
That's kind of where I've really nurtured and grew with, and that's really kind of helped me stay grounded and build the foundation for where I am today.
All right, you got your little brother who you was tight with.
Yeah.
You got your boys.
Yep.
Pick up the phone. I'm calling him. I said, all right, Brother Bolden, what's Marcus's superpower? What would he say?
Oh, superpower would be being able to relate to different people. You can drop me in any environment. I'm not going to get flustered. You won't know where I'm at. I've been in some crazy environments. Now I probably won't do like a country music bar, but you can put me in an environment. I'll be able to swim.
Okay.
I'll be able to swim, be authentic, have a good time there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even come back again. So I would say that being able to navigate different obstacles, being able to navigate some really crazy challenges would probably be my superpower. They put me in some real crazy predicaments. Of like, man, God, if you can get us out of this one, Marcus, we'll never do this one again. And I've been able to come out unscathed. It could cost me every now and then, but I'll come out unscathed on the other side. So,
okay, all right.
Yep.
So we're going back to that question that we had right before the break. When was the moment in your life? And please wrap as much of the environment or contextualize it as much as you can. The moment you realized you were a black man.
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up in Florida, there's no way to hide. It's the South.
Okay, right.
It's the South in all aspects of it. So whether it's when we went to church, there was no diversity there. It was just all black people at church.
Right.
But even where we lived in a middle class community, and there was nobody on our street that even looked like us. We were the only black kids in our community. So everything you did, it stuck out. So there was no really wondering like, what black kids did, whatever. It's like, well, no, there's only 2. You got a 50% chance to pick which one it was. It was the Bolden boys.
Uh-huh.
And as we grew up and started playing sports, particularly with lacrosse, it was a very, very evident that people had, number one, scouted us and knew what we could and could not do.
Right.
But also how we were perceived, right? I knew that at an early age when we were playing that people were looking at how we compose ourselves, how you handled yourself.
Right.
You know, there were things that we would get in trouble with that were considered aggressive. They're like, well, they're doing the same exact things. And it was just because how we were packaged and how we and what our paint job looked like. And so at a very early age, I knew there were things that I just couldn't do. You know, there were things that I had to be, if I did them, I had to be really well grounded in who I surrounded myself with, what I was doing, why I was going to be there, because I was going to be guilty until proven innocent, just because of the environment that I was in, the way that we stuck out. There were not a lot of black kids around.
Right.
And we were looked at as, oh yeah, those are those guys.
How being in that environment, how did that help you, and how does that help you today?
Yeah, it helps being the first, you know. So when I played lacrosse, I was the first black kid on the team. As I started moving up in my career, there were many times where I had to be the one to open up that door and be the first one. And so what I always wanted to pride myself on was be the first one, but also open up the door for people behind you to be able to enter that door, you know? So when I was the first one to play lacrosse, the second one was my brother to come behind me, right? When I was the first one, when I got in operations and supply chain to be an operations manager, I worked at Mercedes-Benz and Chrysler, you know? I was the youngest, first black guy to be an ops manager. And then I opened up a path to hire more people that looked like me that were able to do it. So I never took it as I took it as a challenge, but I also took it as a testament to say, like, don't mess this up, because if you do, you will also slam the door on anybody that also looks like you because of what you've done and how you've handled and perceived yourself. So I always took that on my shoulders to say, like, yeah, you're going to set a foundation, and you can either be a really good foundation or a really bad one and impact people behind you. And so I always try to take a positive route. Just like, when you're going to do it, you better do it really well, because everybody's kind of sitting back looking like, well, let's just see, you know, let's see what he's going to do. He's probably going to fail, but I told you so. And you really want to make sure that what you're doing is able to illustrate that, hey, you took a good bet, and this guy can do it. And there's probably some others that look like him that can actually do it better if you would just give him or her a chance. Just give him a chance. You know?
Wow. So you view yourself as a pioneer?
I've done a lot of things. Yeah, it's been fun. It's a pioneer, but also I would say it's also just I don't see challenges. You know, I see those that they're good opportunities. Good way to lay a foundation, figure it out in the path. You know, there's a lot of crazy things out there that I want to do, and I never really shied away from a big challenge or anything that's out there. You know,
your energy is really, really positive. I mean, like a can do, that type. Where did that come from? I mean, you know, I've met a lot of people from Florida, so I know it's not in the water.
Yeah, it's not in the water in Florida.
So where did that come from? If you don't mind,
I would say it almost goes back to your Michael Jordan quote when we started the segment. You know, around showing up and doing it yourself. You know, there were so many times I was told no, like, oh no, you can't do that. No, this is the easier path. You know, when I remember in high school, I took my high school assessment, and they're like, oh, I like outdoors, and so my high school assessment was you could be a farmer. You know, I was like, a farmer? Shit, I want to own a farm. How am I going to be out there farming? You crazy? You know, like, no, I don't think that's what I want to do. Just kind of like to be outside and hanging out. So I always saw that I could do something different.
Marcus the sharecropper.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, man. I don't know what I clicked on here, but that will happen, you know. And but I saw for myself that I wanted to do better, you know. And I also saw that even my family, they had a positive outlook on life, and even when times were hard. Like my grandfather and things, I would see like he was working, and he was, I mean,
he was grinding.
He was grinding, but he always kept a positive attitude. And I was like, well, if he can stay focused and stay positive, I think I can, because he had a lot more obstacles than I ever did, and was able to accomplish quite a bit. And so, you know, I always kept assume positive intent. Now there are a lot of knuckleheads out there and people that weren't willing to help, but I always tried to look at a little piece of good out of everybody and figure out how I could put that into my game and craft myself to where I'm at today.
You got a little brother.
Got a little brother. Yep.
What's his name?
Brian Bolden.
Brian Bolden. Yeah. BB.
Yep.
What have you learned from him?
I've learned to be a good leader. Learned to listen. Learn how to fight. You know, and how to have that
between
debate.
you two.
Yeah. Between us, and sometimes it's a physical fight. It's just the discussion and a lot of the dialogue with him is just hearing a different point of view. You know. He was able to see the things that I would do, and if I would have a challenge or an obstacle, and he would normally navigate around there, or I'll be the first one to go in the fire and get burnt, and he would learn, like, ooh, I won't do that one. So that one could get you hurt, you know, and so he would go around it. but the dialogue and the partnership with my brother has been awesome. Just learning, being able to be a good role model. Learning from him as well. I learned more. I bounce things off of him every day.
Right.
Hey, what do you think? Talk to him every single day. So it's not even really a brother more. It's more like a best friend.
Right.
Partner in crime.
When did that happen? When did he stop being a little brother and become, this is my guy, this is my partner?
I would probably say once we got to college.
Okay.
So in high school, you're still a little bit of friction. You're still trying to figure it out. He was trying to lay his legacy, and I want to be better than him.
Right.
But once we got to college, we really got a lot closer because we were in a different environment. It was kind of one of those us versus the world. Hey, we got to figure this thing out. So
he was in Florida State also?
He went to Florida State as well.
Okay.
So I had already opened up the door, and I let him see, oh yeah, there's no boogeyman in here. This is how you can make it happen. Right. So he got there, and we really just gelled and had a really good time. So I think
cool.
that was a time where we both had to figure it out. We were both kind of on an island. Parents weren't around.
Right.
So he leaned on me for things. I leaned on him for things. We tried to make it work, and I think that was really where kind of our partnership really solidified, and we were able to really, really bond.
I got 2 boys that's going to Alabama A&M.
Okay.
And so it's going to be interesting because they got close during COVID.
Yeah. Okay.
And because they were together every day.
Yep.
But before that,
yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But when they had each other and that was it.
Yep.
They figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So tell me about high school.
Yeah.
No. Don't tell me about high school. You did. Tell me about college. What was your transition into adulthood?
Yep.
Was there a moment that really stuck out to you that was like, oh, I'm here now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to college to be an oral surgeon.
Really?
And as you can see, that didn't quite happen. First off, these paws aren't going to anybody's mouth.
It's a big hands, man.
So sometimes my family didn't give me good feedback. Because my grandmother, once she realized I wasn't going to go, she said, baby, them hands are way too big. I didn't want to crush your dreams, but it was never going to happen for you. So my original college plan was my coach was an oral surgeon.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I like what he does. This is going to be fun. So I was like, yep, I'm going to go to Florida State, play lacrosse, go be a dentist, be an oral surgeon. Life will be great.
Right.
And I quickly learned once I got there, oh, this just might not happen.
Right.
And I got accepted to go to dental school, and I saw the price tag. And that was a very quick and pointed discussion with my parents. And they were like, oh, that's great. But who's paying for this? We're not working till we're 90 years old. That's not going to happen.
Right.
And so I quickly reverted back to, okay, well, I'm just going to finish this whole college thing out. And I loved working, and I loved being in supply chain and solving big problems.
Right.
And I worked every summer at a Chrysler distribution center. We did pick, pack, and ship for your car. And I was like, all right,
this kind of fell into
kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like this. And so I took college courses to learn more about it, get myself acclimated to that environment. I was like, yeah, I think once I get done, I'm gonna go try out this supply chain thing. And so that was my college experience. I loved sports, so I played sports the entire time. And when I came out, my father worked in automotive. I love cars as well, so I'm like, all right, perfect fit. I'm gonna go work at Chrysler, go drive really nice cars, go drive a Benz every now and then. And so I was like, this is gonna work. This college thing, I just want to hurry up and get out so I can start making some money. That was my whole focus. I need to get out here and get paid. Right. And that was my focus. I knew pro lacrosse players don't make anything. So it wasn't gonna happen for me.
Right.
I was gonna have to go do it the real way and start to grind it. So that was my college experience: was have fun, do the right thing, get yourself out of there, and go ahead and
tell me when you looked across the room and saw that lady that you ended up asking for her hand in marriage. Tell me about her. When did that happen?
That happened, so the first interaction that we had was not a good one. So it was not love at first sight. Our first interaction, a buddy of mine on my team introduced, hey, you got to meet this girl. He had chopped her up. You got to meet her. And we met, and I didn't lack confidence. And so I probably had a little bit extra confidence on my side. She probably had a little extra on hers. And so it was a little clash of titans there. It didn't gel. But we came back after a summer, and I was like, all right, well, let's just see where this goes. And we started hanging out. And long story short, we hung out for quite a while. I finished my college years with her, and we were just hanging out together.
So this is your college sweetheart?
College sweetheart, yep. College sweetheart. So yeah, we were married for 15 years, but we've been together for over 20 years, So
oh, wow.
Yeah, I met her in college. She went to FAM.
Okay.
I went to Florida State, so I went across the tracks and, dragged her on over to the good guy side. Tried to. It didn't work, but it was good. My dad went to FAM, so he already gave her, she had at least 5 or 6 stars already because, she cut from good cloth.
Right.
Yeah, I met her, and it was great. We just started moving in my career. She came along with me, started her own career. But once things got crazy, especially when I started really working at Nike and, life started taking over, we really just kind of focused on the family and really wanted to dedicate, pour ourselves into the kids and make sure that they can, do the right thing and be supported. And it's been great. We've been married for 15 years.
Right.
It's been a good time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll make another 15 to 20 more, but it's been great. Yeah. It's
super
been really good.
Duper, man.
Yeah.
So listen, you got your career. And you seem to have things figured out. But if you were to see this little kid, he's sitting here, little Marcus, sitting there eating a bowl of cereal, watching cartoons Saturday morning.
Yeah.
He looks up, big Marcus of the day is coming through the door.
Yeah.
What would big Marcus say to little Marcus?
I would say it would be very similar feedback that my parents gave me. So you're the average of the 5 people that you're around, that you surround yourself with. And they always challenge me. It's like, you probably shouldn't hang out with that friend. Is that the right friend you really want to be around? They would always, I don't know about him, I don't know about her. And so I would always tell myself, if I look back to younger Marcus, like surround yourself with people that you want to be with and you want to see yourself grow with. And surround yourself with eagles, right? Because as you know, eagles can soar, you don't surround yourself with a bunch of ducks that you just swim around,
Right.
And that was, I think, being in that environment and challenging myself to surround myself with better people that were doing good things, weren't always getting in trouble. Right. Sometimes it was really boring, though, because I would see the other kids doing fun stuff. Man, that would really be good, but I would be the one that would probably get caught, you know? And so I would always tell myself, just surround yourself with good people. You can still have a really good time. You can still do really good things. And allow yourself to put yourself in a much different light and a better environment than where you currently are at. So challenge yourself around what environment you're putting yourself in, what things you're saying yes to, and more importantly, say no to a few things as well. So that way you can come out unscathed on the other side. I would definitely challenge myself to look at that a lot differently than I did. I would always go to where the party was at and always want to have a good time as I was eating that bowl of cereal. Right. And now that I look back on it, a lot of those kids that I would have been hanging with are not doing good things if they're around it at all. But definitely are not doing right stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the last one, man. This is the last question of it's been an amazing show, and I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. But I want you to leave the kids, adults, whoever is watching this right now, leave them something that they will know that they got to experience. They had the Marcus Bolden experience.
Yeah.
And I want you to say it right there in that camera. Just talk to them as if it's a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I would tell people, don't be afraid of taking on challenges. Don't be afraid of being the first one. But also know that you're going to have to leave a legacy when you go and open up that door. And don't ruin it for other people, right? There's a lot more work that we can do. There's a lot more good people out there that are actually really trying to help. And if you can embrace that change and embrace those type of people and surround yourself with those that are trying to do better, you can always come out a better version of yourself. So as I looked at myself and kind of where I like to go, and I look at you all and look at what you're doing today, think about, where you want to go, what you want to do, who you're going to surround yourself with, and make sure that you have people that are in your team that are advocates, but will also keep it real to you. Pull you to the side, have those discussions. As we opened up with the discussion of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was great, but he also had a lot of come to Jesus meetings at those halftimes, right? Around dog cussing everybody around that team around where they wanted to go and how they could get better. And you need to surround yourself with people like that can help make sure that they empower you, make sure that you can get better, and come out on the backside and continue to win the game and win at life. That's what I would challenge you with.
Hold yourself accountable. Hold your friends accountable. That's what I heard from this brother who's making it happen. Listen, I'm Larry Robinson. For our guest, Brother Marcus Bolden, all the way from Florida. Listen, this has been The Journey. Thank you for your time and keep coming back, because we will. Take care. Thank you to our partners at Nike's Black Community Commitment. To hear more incredible stories like this, be sure to download the KUDZUKIAN app from the App Store or Google Play. Or check out the Journey Memphis podcast on all your major podcast providers. Also, check us out on the KUDZUKIAN Network.